Hi World All Day friends, my name is Bradley Justice and today I'm going to talk about Kiddles, another Mattel product. And as you know, I love Mattel products because I love Barbie. So we're going to talk about how Mattel kind of sealed its way into the doll aisle at the toy store. Barbie had been wildly successful, kind of unexpectedly, and kind of sojourned Mattel into another aisle at the toy store. Until then, they had been predominantly in the boys' aisle with the toy guns and that sort of stuff. But Barbie really kind of opened the door for them. The next doll they would introduce was Chatty Cathy. This 18-inch talking doll had a mechanism that was designed by Jack Ryan. And she said lots of different things when you pulled the string. She was expensive. Barbie also came at a price point that was not as expensive as Chatty Cathy, but she had an element that could become expensive. You had to buy extra clothes and accessories to kind of get the play value. Elliot Handler, who was the co-founder of Mattel, had an idea, and he combined the word little and kid together and came up with Kiddles. And he wanted to create these tiny little dolls, like 3 inches tall, that could fit in your pocket and come with like a whole little play set. So he talked to the design department, and some of those first heads were sculpted by a lady named Martha Armstrong Hand. Now, if you're a doll artist collector, you're probably very familiar with Martha Armstrong Hand. She is one of the original NIADA artists. She had a flair for capturing sort of a great look in dolls. She was very talented. She did a lot of other dolls for Mattel, including Baby First Step and the Steffi face mold for Barbie that we all love. So she created several sculpts and tiny little bodies. The bodies are vinyl and have a wire armature in them that allow them to be posable. They then worked with some of the existing designers that designed for Barbie and Chatty Cathy. And at that time, you weren't a Barbie designer or a Chatty Cathy designer. You were what was called a soft goods designer. So anything that was fabric was designed by somebody in this department. So some of the early designers for Barbie, Dorothy Shue, Carol Spencer, designed a lot of these little costumes and accessories for these earliest Kiddles. The original set of Kiddles was 12 dolls, and there was Bunsen Bernie that came with a fire truck, and Howard Biff Boodle that came with a wagon, Florence Liddle that came with a little nurse's cap and a little pram with a little tiny doll in it. These dolls had a lot of play value. They came with the doll with little accessories that were tiny, with little shoes and little extras. So there was like a whole play set in this package that retailed for around $3. They were wildly successful. And when they were choosing all of this, they worked with Jean Berger to create hairstyles and hair colors for these little dolls. Now, the advantage with working in-house on this is having designed with Barbie, they already had the materials and the technology to design a vinyl doll with rooted hair and a painted face. They were just doing it at a smaller scale. Some of the same technology was used with the Kiddles as with Barbie, and along with some of the same accessories, you'll see repeated in some way, shape, or form with the Kiddles. In 1966, when they premiered, like I said, they were enormously successful. They were sold by many different venues, toy stores, even in the Sears catalog. In 1967, they expanded the line, adding 7 new dolls, including their very first black doll, which was Roly Twiddle. And she came with a little pink wagon and is one of my favorite Kiddle dolls. That same year, when they were experimenting with their first black Kiddle, is when they came out with the black Francie doll. So Mattel was trying to expand its diversity then. The 7 new dolls just kind of expanded the play value, came with little play sets like a bathtub and even a surfboard. That same year, they hired someone named Erin Libby, and Erin Libby was in charge of doll characterization. Now, that's a job title I wouldn't mind having. But she created concepts and art and sketches for the new ideas for these dolls and worked a lot with how the faces would be painted and that sort of thing. So to me, sounds like a dream job. But she was very instrumental in the Kiddle world. So we have a lot to thank with Erin. As Kiddles became even more popular, they expanded the line exponentially. They added storybook Kiddles with all of your favorite little fairy tales like Peter Pan and Little Middle Muffet. And with the Peter Pan, well, Peter Paniddle, they always like to add the little iddle in there to make sure you know it's a Kiddle. But they used the Barbie doll that came with a Skipper playset and painted her different and added wings, and she became the Tinkerbell for Peter Pan. And even the Peter Pan Kiddle included his shadow. So they were very thoughtful. As they expanded, they even shrunk them down and made like locket Kiddles, which come in at about 2.5 inches, and it came with a little clip on the back that you could hang it on your blouse. They did jewelry Kiddles. They came in perfume bottles. They came in soda pop bottles. They did lots of different things, and they were very successful. There's a lot of crossover between Barbie and Kiddle because the sculpt that they used for a lot of the Kiddle heads was also used for Tootie. That sculpt, which was by Martha Armstrong Hand. Here's an example of that. And this is a Tootie head with like a bubble cut hairstyle with rooted lashes that then never made it to the market. In my own collection, I have jewelry Kiddles, but then I have this collection of prototype heads that were sample heads that were done showing different hair colors and hairstyles from some of the existing Kiddles, and then some concepts that never made it to the market. This is Bunsen Bernie, and Bunsen was produced with red hair. This one is like a sandy blonde hair color. And Betty by Kiddle here has sandy blonde hair instead of the red produced. And this one looks a little bit like Surfy Sliddle that came with a surfboard, but her hair is like lemon yellow. And down here at the bottom is the little Kiddle sample head that they did for Truly Scrumptious when they did the miniature Chitty Chitty Bang Bang set based on the movie. She's different than the produced one. This one doesn't have the painted teeth. This one is one of my favorites. She's kind of like Princess Leia meets the Swiss Miss. She's got these crazy buns on the side of her head, and they're just elaborate braids. I think she's kind of fabulous. And this little one, which probably would have been for a locket or something, has hair that's just crazy like an octopus. Kiddles were very successful, kind of like until they weren't. In the early 70s, they began to get phased out because I think they had been so successful. They were knocked out by so many companies, creating a big variety of different things, from their own version of jewelry Kiddles to they came in little travel cases, all kinds of things. And so Mattel phased them out, and they were gone. I love Kiddles because to me it's just an extension of Barbie. There's the same quality, the same material, the same style, the same flair. So it's just an extension of my Barbie collection. And I really enjoy searching and comparing with fabrics and stuff just to add to them. These prototype heads are sort of treasures to me because I love to see the evolution of concept and how things were originally intended. I'm going to share a few images now of some of the concept layout of some of the Kiddles that were done for Mattel, and they were photographed and are part of my archive. However, these are different fabrics, different hair colors, different hairstyles that never made it to the market. So you can see from my archive some of these wonderful images of what was going on in Mattel in the late 60s. So I really hope you enjoy learning a little more about Mattel and Kiddles as much as I enjoy collecting them.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.